You might want to make sure that the movements are super simple.
They work out a lot, so they like
Okay.
she's the youngest one. That like they can all do strict pull-ups, push-ups, whatever.
Oh, okay, yeah, they'll be fine then.
So she's trying to make the Joker be all the 4 movements.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's
Yeah.
gonna have fun with it, similar to the way that you had fun with it, except she has to do it as well.
Yeah, I actually do that workout a fair amount because it's just like a quick, it's a quick do something kind of thing. Right, you just pick 4 movements and let the cards fall. I've also been burned by it a few times where I think we had toes to bar as one of them, and we ended up pulling like every card was toes to bar. It was like the 8, and then the 9 of diamonds, then it was the king of diamonds, and we were just like, oh my god. All right. Is everybody ready to get started? Okay. Just come on over to your screen, and I'm just going to do a quick chat about what our intention is today and what we're planning on doing today.
Can everybody mute, please?
Who's singing? Someone in the background at Mario's place there is testing the vocals. So the warm-up today is going to be some slow movements just to start, just to try and get the blood flowing through all the different joints, muscle groups, just a little bit of movement through there. I'm going to run you through a quick squat stretching program. It's the usual one that I do with people, the hand on the foot, then the hand across, just to loosen up our hips. And then we're going to get into snatch technique, and I'm going to use that part to warm up the shoulders. And I'm going to be going through the same Bergener technique movements that we went through last time. I like to run through those ones just to keep everybody sharp for when we do hopefully get back to the gym. It's looking pretty good for the end of the month. Apparently, a lot of info coming out saying that might be what's going to happen. So that'll be nice. Then we're going to do the floor presses to warm up the arms a little bit before the thrusters. It's going to be 3 rounds of 15 seconds fast, 15 seconds slow. What you need for that one, if you haven't done that one before, is just a plate or a piece of weight or whatever that you can press back and forth from a chest press, from a floor press type position. And then we're going to get into our thruster progression. How many of you, just by show of hands, thumbs up or thumbs down, did the thruster progression last week? Almost everybody did. Okay, perfect. So the objective I'd like you to have when thinking about the thruster progression this week is a couple different options. If you're sore today and you just want to use it for recovery, you can use it as, you can add a little bit more weight or move a little bit slower and actually think of a time period per minute you're going to continue moving forward. Like you would do 30 seconds of thrusters and 30 seconds rest, per se. Last time, if you know how many reps you did at the weight you did, you can try increase that rep count. If you failed to achieve what you set out for last time, then you can try it again if you feel like it'll be appropriate, or you can take it down a little bit. Mostly what I'm looking for is the same consistent number of reps each round. Make sense? So, and if you want to add weight today because you feel like you want to push it a little bit more, don't be afraid to fail this. Don't be afraid to put some weight on or do a few more reps and then realize halfway through, yeah, okay, it didn't, I wasn't able to maintain it, but then you know where you are and you're pushing for that progression, which is the intention of this, okay? Let's start things off. Let me get you running on the spot just so I know you're here and ready to go. Just a little light jog, a little moving. Running on the spot, please. Good. Yeah, just moving around a little bit. We've been working on pose running a little bit, which is a style of running, me and Leah at the track. It's kind of tricky. For the next little bit of running, I want you to bring your heel directly under your hip, but quite high. So it's almost like a mix of a high knee and a butt kicker coming straight up. think about your ankle coming to right below your hip and keep running on the spot. Yes. Good, and relax for a second here. So let's get into our little AMRAP warm-up. It's going to be a 3-minute AMRAP, and you're going to do 10 slow squats. So I want a nice slow tempo on the squats, and then 10 slow shoulder to overhead. So what I'm thinking for this is like a 3-second count down, a 3-second count up, and even pressing out, it'll be a 3-second count up, a good extension through the shoulders, and then a 3-second count down, okay? After you do 10 slow squats, 10 slow shoulder to overhead, you're going to do 3 burpees. And we're just going to do a little 3-minute AMRAP, and we're going to use that as our warm-up. So it'll start with 10 slow squats, and then it will be 10 slow shoulder to overhead, and then 3 burpees, and just kind of go through it for 3 minutes. Is everybody ready? I'll count the time. I'll call out the minutes. Starting in 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. 10 slow squats, 10 slow shoulder to overhead, 3 burpees, rinse and repeat. Try not to bounce out of the squat. I want you to actually pause very briefly at the bottom down there so that you're using all your muscles, no elasticity in this piece. It's all muscle strength. After the 10 squats, it's 10 shoulder to overhead, just with a light weight. Same thing here, nice and slow. Think about a really good head through. Ten of those. You can do them single arm too. You can do a couple on one side, a couple on the other side if you like. And then 3 burpees and start the squats again. So it's not ground to overhead, Doc, just shoulder to overhead. So just your chest and then up for that part, yeah. Just think about pushing your head through and waking up the shoulders here. Good. We're halfway through. We're just doing 3 minutes of this just to get blood flow. One more minute. Yoga mat, yeah. Yoga mat. About 30 more seconds. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. All right, I'm going to lead you through a little stretch now, just to warm up and open up the hips. First movement I want you to do is you're going to have your hand on your foot, back knee is down, elbow on the inside of the knee. I'm just pushing a little bit with the elbow, rocking back and forth. Back knee is on the ground here. Now, take the hand that's on your foot and bring it across. Try to push your belly button down towards your heel. Take the hand that's across and walk it back. Reach back. Push on the knee. Open up the hips. Bring that hand back down to the ground. Push yourself backwards. Straighten the front leg. Hinging only at the hips, not through the back. Lean forward until you feel that hamstring stretch. And straighten yourself back up. Flatten the front foot. Push the knee over top of the toes. Don't let the heel come up. Keep the heel on the ground and just move back and forth here and just mobilize the ankle. Good, ease off that ankle. Bring your hands to the ground. Bring your knees together. And then shift your hips to the right side and stretch your hip. And bring your hips back to center. Come into a push-up position and slide your right leg forward. And bring your left knee down into a pigeon pose. And then come back to that push-up position. Bring your opposite leg forward. Hand on your laces on the top of your foot. So you should be starting the routine again with the opposite side now. Pushing the elbow into the knee. I always move a little bit these stretches to keep it a little bit dynamic. Bring your hand across, belly button towards your heel. Walk your hands to the inside, reach back, push on the knee. Good, straighten the front leg. Leaning forward, stretch the hamstring. Flatten that front foot, bring the knee forward, mobilize the ankle. Pushing down on my knee with my forearm. And bring your knees together, hips to the left. And back to center. Push-up position, opposite leg comes forward into a pigeon pose. Good, and come on up. Shake out your legs a little bit. So the next piece that we're going to do is going to be the floor press. If you haven't done this one before, what's going to happen is you're going to be on your back with your knees up. You're going to have a weight in your hands, something you can hold in both hands, and you're going to press to elbows lock out, then back to your chest, and you're going to go fast for 15 seconds and then slow for 15 seconds. And we're going to do 3 rounds just to warm up the arms and shoulders. Please get yourself into position. You can just grab onto a dumbbell from either side, or anything will work for this, yeah. Doesn't have to be super heavy, it's about muscle fatigue. Okay, we're gonna be starting the first round on my count. Ready in 3, 2, 1, fast. Going fast, up and down, fast, fast, fast. And 3, 2, 1, slow. Go very slow now, very slow. It never actually stops. It's always moving, but it is going quite slow. 3, 2, 1, fast. Fast, 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 fast. Three, 2, 1, slow. Going very slow, very slow. Three, 2, 1, fast. Push, 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 fast, fast, fast. 3, 2, 1, slow. Three, 2, 1, rest. We're gonna rest 30 seconds and we're gonna do it again. How's it feel? Arms warm, waking up? All right, starting again in 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, fast. Push, 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 push. Squeeze the triceps. 3, 2, 1, slow. Going slow now, just barely moving. 3, 2, 1, fast. Fast again. 3, 2, 1, slow. Nice and slow here. 3, 2, 1, fast. Last round of fast. Keep the tempo. 3, 2, 1, slow. Last round of slow. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Good. Go ahead and toss that weight to the side, and please grab your stick or dowel or broomstick or whatever you're using for our snatch technique portion. Just a little bit. Good. So when you're holding your barbell in your snatch technique position, or your snatch grip position, it is important that the barbell runs right across your hip crease. The reasoning behind that is when you jump on your snatch or when you extend up on your snatch, that should be the point of full extension. If your hands are too close together or too far apart, you're not going to be able to hit that piece on the snatch. Every time I do a snatch and every time you watch people do a snatch correctly, they will probably either brush up against or touch that hip crease on the way up. You use that point as like a button. It is your cue that when the bar reaches that point, it is time to jump. You don't want to jump before that or accelerate excessively before that. That is the point where you want to accelerate excessively. And I want to practice that a little bit with our down and ups today. Okay? So just standing in your hip crease with your feet underneath your hips and your toes pointed slightly out. The reason I point my toes slightly out is so that when I bend my knees, I'm actually a little bit bow-legged. You can look at my feet. If my feet are pointing straight and I bend my knees, it causes my hips to go back and it causes my chest to fall forward. If I turn my toes a little bit out, I can drop into my heels. My knees will track over my toes, so I'm going to be a little bit bow-legged in that position. And when I come up, that's where I'm going to drive from. That's why my feet are just slightly pointed out. So from this position, standing in position, and just dip down a couple inches. So I'm in the down position now, the bottom of my dip. The barbell, if you notice, does not move. The barbell does not slide down with me. The barbell stays in that hip crease, and my chest stays very upright. I am not leaning forward. I am dropping straight down. Okay? When I drop straight down, I'm not on the balls of my feet. I'm in my heels. So let's drop down and just hold that position for a second and check in. The different points of performance that I check in with here is, are my knees over my toes? Yes. Is my weight in my heels? Yes. Are my wrists in front of my knuckles? I don't want my knuckles facing forward. I want my triceps to be flexed by just slightly having the back of my wrist in front of my knuckles. I'm curling that bar into my hip crease. Okay? From this position, when I come up, I drive out of the heels and squeeze my butt. Now, at that point, do my heels rise off the ground at the end? Yes. But I don't want to be driving off the balls of my feet and have my ankle trying to create power. My hip is trying to create power when I come up, not my foot. You're not going to get a lot of power out of your foot. You have to drive out of the heel. Okay? So from this position, we're going to dip and then come up and shrug. All right, let's do it a couple times on my count. Ready? Dip, up. I don't shrug until my butt has already been squeezed. Dip, up. Dip, up. Dip, up. Good. Dip and hold. Good. The way that this position translates from the hang snatch is when I come down, I now want you to bow. And the bar comes just above my knees. And hold this position here. My back is nice and tight. Now I need to get the barbell to my hips before I extend with power. So what I'm going to do is I'm almost going to lean back, drag the bar back up, and I'm back in my dip. Bow, dip. And when I dip, I don't extend yet. Let's save that piece for the end. So down in the dip, bow to the hang position, dip, bow, dip, extend, dip, bow, dip, and jump. Dip, bow, slide it right down your legs, back to the dip, jump, and dip, bow, dip, jump. Good. Okay. The next piece is we need to go down to where the barbell is going to be on the ground. What I'm doing here is I'm building the snatch in reverse order. So when we get to the after the bow part or the hang position, we're then going to slide the barbell down our shins a little bit. So watching me first, I'm going to dip, bow, descend, up, dip, and jump. Okay? Try follow that pattern. So we will go dip, bow. Now when I say descend, you're just going to slide it down your shins to mid-shin. Descend. Now when I say up, you're not going to stand up with your back. You're going to push your feet into the ground and bring it back to that hang position. Up, back to the dip, jump. Good. Now what I'm going to change up here is this part is all going to be one word. I'm just going to say go. But you're still going to slide that barbell up your legs and jump. Okay? So we're going to build it on the way down, but we're going to explode a little more on the way up. So you will dip, bow, descend to mid-shin, slowly rise back up to the knees, go. Good. The bar should have tracked right along your thighs, using your thigh as a runway until it gets to the hip crease, and then you jump. You can't jump early. If you jump early, the bar will leave the thigh early and you're going to lose power. Dip. Bow. Down to the shins. Back up to the knees. Go. Lean back and jump. Yeah, good. Dip. Bow. Shins. Now hold it there. Now from here, I'm just going to say go. And you're going to have to come up to the knees, then lean back and jump. Ready? Go. Don't worry about adding a ton of speed yet. Think about proper movement first. We'll add that. We got mechanics before we add intensity. Ready? Dip. Bow. Shins. Go. Good. Awesome. All right. I want to add in bringing the barbell up overhead. From this position, we're just going to dip and then drop under the bar with the bar directly overhead. So it is a high hang power snatch. Okay? From here, I'm going to dip, come up, elbows go high, turn in a half squat. When I'm in this position, I'm going to freeze and I'm going to check in and make sure that barbell is perfectly above the top of the back of my head or the top of my shoulders, directly over that frontal plane. I'll do a couple with you and then I'll watch you do a couple. Ready? So watch me do one first. Stand, bar down. Ready? 1. You can drop into a quarter squat here if you like, and then check in. Move your feet if you like on this one as well. Ready? 2. Good. Ready? 3. Good. Stand, reset the feet. Ready? 4. Good. Make sure when you're turning that bar, the bar doesn't turn in front of the body. The bar goes straight up and gets forced. It gets snapped like a back fist hitting the roof. Ready? It has to go right past your face. There is a line that if you don't hit yourself in the nose of the snatch at least once a year, you're not doing it right. Ready? What are we on? 3. Good. This time I want you to pause in the bottom position. I don't want you to stand until I say stand. Ready? 4. Freeze. Think about your weight being, stay down there. Think about your weight being in your heels, your shoulders being super tight, extended, and now drive up out of the heels. One more. Ready? Same thing, pause in the bottom. 5. Good. Find your heels, find your feet, stand and relax. Good. And I just want to talk about that pause in the bottom of position a little bit. When you watch super high-end Olympic weightlifters doing snatches, one thing that you will always notice, especially on the snatch, not so much on the clean for different reasons, is they pause in the bottom. One of the main reasons they pause in the bottom is to make sure that their weight is perfectly distributed, to make sure that their shoulders have the bar and are locked into position, and to make sure that they're driving out of the heels, not driving off the balls of their feet. If they're driving off of the balls of their feet, they're going to be unbalanced as they come up. So without your stick for a second, just put your hands in the air with your palms facing down. Now from this position, I want you to slowly turn your palms so they're facing up. You feel the difference in your shoulders? That engages the lats. Now pull your armpits down towards your feet. And you can feel those lats engage. That's a strong back, a strong shoulder position that you can bear a lot of weight as you're trying to stand. It's not the easiest mobility-wise for some people. For some people, the ability to turn that shoulder, if you watch my shoulder, turn that shoulder into the socket is very difficult underneath the barbell. It's something that takes a while to develop mobility, but it is something you should always strive for. Let's do a couple full snatches from the shin all the way overhead. So how we're going to do this is I'm going to say dip and then down to the shin, and you'll slide it down your legs and go down to the shin, and then I'm going to say go, okay? So standing tall, dip, down to the shin, go. Full snatch, good. Check in, pause, and then stand. Yeah, pause, check in with your shoulders, check in with your feet, and then go, then stand. Ready? Dip, down to the shin, go. Pause and then stand. Again, ready? Dip, down to the shin. Make sure you're shrugging on these when you come up. Go. Pause and then stand. Good. 2 more. Dip, shins, go. Control that weight. Don't bounce out of that bottom. I want to see the pause. Dip. Shins. Go. Good. Awesome. Go ahead and throw your stick down. Relax. Excellent job. I'm excited to see some of you back in the gym with a barbell and see if we can work on or continue developing some of the stuff that we've been working on here, just to see if some of the muscle memory starts to stick a little bit. I hope that some of you have learned some details of the snatch from this. So we're going to move into our 10-minute EMOM of the thruster now. What I would like you to do is a practice set of 3 to 5 thrusters, depending on how heavy you're choosing, just to see where you're at and make sure everything feels good. Make sure that your strategy for this workout is appropriate. You okay, Natalie? Lose your balance there a little bit? Yeah. Maybe go a little wider feet there. Yeah. And then relax. And come on over to the screen. One of the things that I look for when I'm looking at someone's squat is I'm trying to see if their hip mobility allows them to do a squat that forces their chest up. There are several movements we do, thruster, wall ball, front squat, where the weight is at your chest when you squat. And if your squat has a center of gravity that goes backwards, right? And the only way that you can really tell is if you film yourself, then these movements are going to be challenging because it's going to force the weight forward. Ideally, when you're squatting, what you should be looking for or attempting to achieve is that straight up and down, not a very hip back kind of squat. If you're unsure what your squat looks like from a side profile that I get to see, but you might not all the time, film it. Film it with weight in your hand and see where you're at, okay? And there are definitely techniques and strategies or mobility work that you can do to try and achieve that weightlifter's squat is what they would call it, because when you're snatching or cleaning, that's where you want that nice chest up, perfectly straight up and down squat instead of that tilted, more back squat. One of the first things that I usually recommend to people is to widen your feet. If your feet are too narrow in your squat position, then your hips have nowhere to go. When you squat down, your hips, you can't go between your feet because your feet are too narrow. They can only go backwards. And if you go backwards, your chest comes forwards. So one of the first things I'd recommend if you feel like you're leaning too far forward on your squat is to widen your feet and give your pelvis somewhere to go. It'll drop down between your heels. That might be something that you want to try today if you feel like that's a detriment for you on thrusters. Does anybody have any questions about the workout? Feel free to unmute yourself now.
I have one.
Okay.
Last time, for people doing single arm, was it switched during the minute?
No, it was each round.
Oh, I did that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you switch during the minute?
I did.
If you want to maintain consistency, then you're more than welcome to do that. Right? That's totally fine. It's
Okay.
it is, you know, it's a personal goal kind of workout anyway, because everyone's doing everything a little bit individualized to themselves. So if you want to
Okay.
maintain that, you go ahead.
Okay. Reading comprehension is a problem.
It's okay. I might
Thanks.
not have mentioned it. It's no problem. Anyone else have any questions about the workout or how it works? 10-minute EMOM. You choose the weight, you choose the number of thrusters, and then we build on it. Okay, give me a thumbs up if you're ready to go. All right. Needs to get my timer situated. One minute for 10 minutes. All right, we are starting in 10 seconds. 2, 1, round 1. Here we go. Drive out of your heels. Breathe in on the way down, breathe out on the way up. Your belly should be full of air at the bottom, core tightest at the very bottom of the squat.
Halfway there.
That's the 30-second mark. That's 10 seconds. 10 seconds till the next round. Keith, how many are you doing there, bud? 2. Round 2. I don't want you going for the full minute. There's got to be a rest interval in there somewhere, okay?
Halfway there.
It's 30 seconds. Keep your elbows nice and high. Ten seconds. Round 3, go.
Halfway there. Ten seconds.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Round 4. Think about being in your heels in the bottom of that squat. Weights in your heels in the bottom. Drive out of the heels. It's okay if they extend at the top, but you don't want to be on the balls of your feet.
Halfway there.
Coming up at the halfway mark. This will be round 5 coming up.
10 seconds.
3, 2, 1. Round 5, halfway round. Make sure you're pushing your head through at the top. Full extension of that shoulder.
Halfway there. 10 seconds.
Round 6 coming up. 3, 2, 1. Here we go.
Halfway there. 10 seconds.
10 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Round 7. Focus on your breathing. Keep your breathing steady. Let your breathing set the pace.
Halfway there.
3 more rounds. Not far now.
10 seconds.
10 seconds. Round 8. Try get the weight on your shoulders on the way down. Let your torso bear the weight as you squat, not your arms. Keep those elbows nice and high.
Halfway there.
Two more rounds.
Ten seconds.
3, 2, 1. Round 9. Round 9. You're almost home. Elbows up.
Halfway there.
Last round coming up.
10 seconds.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last round.
Last round.
Push that head through. Halfway.
There.
30 seconds.
Ten seconds.
Well done, folks. Catch your breath. Go ahead and unmute yourself and give me some feedback how it went. Let me know how it went. So same thing as last week. I did enter this as a separate entry point or data point on Wodify, so that if this one does come up in a class, you'll have record of it. How you feeling, Ryan? Not bad. Doc, how was it? Better or worse?
I went heavy this time,
Yeah,
less reps, and it changes it for sure.
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good though. If you focus a little bit more on the technique, because
Yeah.
it'll start to throw you around a little bit if your balance isn't on point with a slightly heavier weight. So
It was easier to concentrate on driving off my heels.
Yeah.
By going, slower, less reps.
yeah, definitely speed on any kind of these movements like hang cleans or any kind of fast light barbell movement. Everybody always starts to drift. Push presses, you see people start to drift onto the balls of their feet. The quads want to take over, right? The hips are better suited for the job, but the quads always want to try and bury the burden or take the burden. So stretching, the cool down stretches that I recommend for this would be quad stretches, very simple ones. You can just hold on to something, hanging onto your own foot, hang onto your ankle, right? Some hip stretches in the lunge position where you're just driving your hips forward. Any one of those ones, I feel like this is a really good quad burner for today.
Hey, Doc.
I still feel like I'm not experienced enough when we start these to know my numbers yet,
To know, say again, sorry, Keith, to know what?
I just feel like I'm still learning these exercises and workouts. So when I start, I don't know my numbers right away.
Yeah.
So like the first one, I was like, when you started, I'm like, okay, am I going to do 20 or 15 or what? And I'm like, well, maybe 20 is ambitious. So I started with 15 and obviously it was way too many. So.
Well, what I was watching, right around the 45-second mark, I take a quick look around. And anybody I see that's still moving, maybe is going to get in trouble. I worry that they're not going to be able to maintain that pace because you're basically you're not giving yourself any rest. You're going straight through on thrusters. So when I saw you still going at like 47 seconds, I'm like, oh, you might want to cut that back a little bit. That might be
Right.
ambitious because it's starting again in 5 seconds, basically. So, yeah. All right, folks, come on in here and unmute yourself. Let's wrap it up.
Hey, Doc, some interesting dental news just came down. Check and see if it affects you.
What was the latest? I haven't seen it this morning.
Says BC Dental may not let offices open regular practices on Tuesday like they.
We knew that. Unfortunately, last week when Horgan did the sort of opening announcement, there still was no direction from PHO or the college in terms of exactly what criteria we have to meet. So
Gotcha.
we're carrying on right now for emerge treatment only, 2 days a week. And chances are it's going to be the end of the month before we have all the criteria in place to be able to move forward. I think hairdressing is sort of in the similar boat.
Yeah. Yeah, we have our fingers crossed for the end of the month. That's when the Fraser Health order gets lifted on May 31st. They have the option to extend it if they wanted to, but a lot of stuff we're hearing down the pipeline is they're going to have a list of requirements, and if you meet the requirements, then you're okay. And we're in a lucky situation that we got a pretty big space, and we're not trying to cram 100 people into it like a Steve Nash or something else. So it's going to look weird, definitely, right? Like 9 people in there at a time and changing every hour, like the coach coming out to the parking lot and telling you you can enter. You'll go to your square. You'll have your piece of chalk. You'll have, your bags won't be in the cubby. They'll be in your square. Everything stays in your square. You stay in your square. Everybody's got to clean first, then work out.
But we'll be there.
Will the PHO then, Aaron, give you guys specific criteria to work with?
I think that it's mostly going to revolve around spacing.
Okay.
That if you can accommodate the spacing, then you'll be okay. And then I wouldn't be surprised if they were checking to see who's doing what. Because I know what's that? You know that there was some. They keep talking about how I don't know what gym it was, but I guess there was an outbreak at a gym, but I don't know. I don't know where, but they keep saying that's why they're very nervous about gyms and obviously tons of people heavy breathing beside each other. For us, it's all the little details they don't think of, like the bathrooms, right?
Yeah.
So when you go into the bathroom, you have to clean the bathroom before you use it, and then clean the bathroom when you leave, and everybody will have to follow the same procedure. So same thing with all of your equipment. You'll have to clean it all just to make sure that the person behind you didn't miss a spot. Then you'll work out, then you'll clean it all again. And then the coach will go around and clean everything after you leave again. So it's, for us, we're just trying to be as over the top, right? Like if they say clean it twice, we're going to clean it 4 times just to make sure that we get to actually do stuff. So yeah, it'll be interesting. No partner workouts for a while, that's for sure.
Partner stretching.
Partner stretching, yeah. Well, it's interesting from a coaching perspective because I won't be able to move around the room. I'm going to have to stand in one spot. So I'm already thinking of like the jerk tables. I'm going to build like a little castle so I can see everything. But it's, visually for me, it's going to be interesting because I'm going to be trying to cue someone and make sure I'm seeing correctly, right? But I did say it can't be harder than this, where sometimes I only see the top of someone's ponytail coming up and down out of their screen or something like that, half of their body doing the movement. I'm trying to make sure, I'm like, are they doing it right? Is that right? So keep it.
One of the things that came up yesterday by one of the science guys, Aaron, was that when you're doing exercise, and they referenced runners in particular, but I mean, certainly for us in the gym, theoretically, you should be wearing a mask.
Yep.
Because the amount of aerosol that's generated from heavy breathing through your mouth spreads quite a distance.
Totally.
And they've done some experiments with it.
Yeah, and even the masks aren't 100%. The best analogy I saw was the peeing pants one. That if 2 people are standing in front of each other and they're both peeing, they're probably going to get some pee on each other. But if one person's wearing pants and the other person's wearing pants and they're both peeing in front of each other, they probably won't get any pee on each other. So That was the best analogy. So yeah, I don't know what working out in a mask is going to be like. Maybe we have to alter the workouts to try accommodate that some, but it's going to be weird. It's definitely going to be weird. So anyway, we'll see when we get there, and we'll make adjustments as we go along. Let's wrap it up. Come on in here. Bring your hands up.
Okay.
Great job today, folks. 3, 2, 1.